ha.
Some serious...
Don't spin too much. Right, guys, we're going to talk about backspin and how to create backspin on wedge shots. Not like that though, you want to try and throw it past the flag and spin it back. That was a bit short. We're down here at Quest Golf Academy here with myself, Rick Shiels, and I'm joined by Dan Whittaker today. So this is an exciting collaboration. Two golf coaches kind of bashing our ideas around to help you improve your game. We're going to talk about spinny wedge shots. Let's do it. What are we talking about, Dan?
Okay, well, the big thing that we both tend to see with people is when you're wanting to try and spin it, people aren't aware of where they need to strike the ball on the face. They're not aware of what they need to do technically to achieve that. And then one of the faults that people try and or create in their swing in order to achieve that nice lower launch number.
So with technology, with GC2s and TrackMans and flight scopes, we've become much more educated over the last 5 years about spin and how to create more of it. And the ideas around spin has changed quite heavily from the last decade, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Where traditionally it used to be talking about hitting down, trying to compress it, trying to squeeze it into the ground. That's completely gone out the window now, because it's all about loft, speed, and shallow angle of attack. Because if we can maximize the loft on a wedge, create enough speed, and then create enough dynamic loft by keeping the angle of attack shallow, we can create bucket loads of speed. And with this in mind, hitting into the golf ball with more shallow and more loft also creates the correct strike location to really create the most spin. Where is the best strike location to create the most spin, Dan?
Lower in the face, so kind of, if you have a look at your grooves on your wedge, you're looking at somewhere between the second and third groove.
And I think for a lot of people, when they hit from that spot, it's going to feel quite thin for them initially.
And I bet to start with, I mean, everyone's experienced that one where they've hit it a bit lower in the face. The playing partners may even think they've caught it a little bit thin, and yet it's gone in, taken one hop, and then stopped instantly on the green.
Yeah, because when we get that bottom groove strike location, that's maximising a lot of the actual spin characteristics of the club. And it's also, if we can present enough loft at contact, we're creating really good dynamic loft, and the friction across the face on those bottom grooves, the ball comes out slightly lower, but then the maximize of loft creates the spin. We ramp up the speed, we create spin.
And also, hold that 1 second, mate. Catching it lower in the face, what happens is, two things happen. Now, this is just information I got from Gears. Obviously, that does got all the specifics into the head. That when we strike it lower in the face, obviously, there's a gearing on the golf club, so it sees the head kick backwards this way, but at the same time, it also deflects the shaft. So the head and the shaft both deflect together, which is what gives that lower launch.
Yeah, and then it's just...
And that's all impact location.
Yeah, loaded full of spin. Let's hit a shot, and we'll talk about coming into the ball shallow, so it's not so much about ball position super far back anymore, and smacking down on the shot because we end up de-lofting the head too much.
Yeah.
Ideal ball position for a shot like this would be relatively central.
Yes.
Keeping the weight a fraction to the left just so we manage to make sure we strike the ball first. And then actually going back with wider characteristics of the swing as opposed to going back super hingy and flicky.
Yes.
So actually creating those wide angles so that when we come in to hit the shot, we've not got the club super length forward, we've got it relatively level, maximising the loft, that creating that spin. You say?
Definitely.
So let's hit a shot. So I'm about 80 yards away here. Ball position is relatively central. I've got a little bit of weight on the left. I'm going to hit through the ball shallow while trying to maximise loft and hit the ball really fast. Oh, that is loaded full of spin. Come back, come back. Nice.
That's a good shot.
Pin eye. So let's have a look at some data on that, see if we can capture some. I love that little zip back. Only got a yard of spin, but you know, these are hard greens.
You definitely like that one on there, reeling it back in.
It's not, for some reason the loft hasn't shown up on that particular shot, but we can definitely see strike location there, very low on the face. That would have taken a divot, but it would have been incredibly shallow. It wouldn't have been a super deep divot.
Yeah.
The divot would have taken place after the ball in very shallow strike location. You can see that off the bottom. And with the spin on that, spinning at 11,500 RPM, that is a lot of spin. Unfortunately, like I said, GC2 just not measured the loft on that. But we can see as we're coming into the shot, and I'll show it from the front view, is that club's not leaning forward too much. I've got the club relatively level, trying to maximise the height. What are the factors, so that's technique, what are the factors would affect spin? What other things could affect the
first thing, we just had a quick look here. We pulled the ball out and it's a little bit on the wet side.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the golf ball, this time of year, golf ball's going to carry a little bit of moisture. Okay, maybe even your club's got a bit of moisture. So maybe you make your practice swing and you just get a little bit of water on the grooves. If you've got some water on the grooves and the ball's a little bit damp, that's going to reduce the amount of friction you're going to be able to create and definitely lower the spin, but also make it really difficult to actually judge what the launch angle is going to be.
Yeah, because it could come off hotter or slower. Other factors as well as the softness of the golf ball. We're just hitting some range balls here, but the softness of the golf ball plays a massive factor in this as well. Using your Pro V1s, etc., have covers that are actually receptive to spins a little bit more. Tight fairways, making sure you have super tight fairways, because again, hitting out the rough, there's tendencies of not being able to get as clean a contact on the golf ball to create as much spin. And you see that with even the top players in the world, when they're in the rough, they don't create an unbelievable amounts of spin. Sometimes when they're in the fairway, they create too much spin because they strike it too good.
Now, and looking at that, you would say that the first thing the player should look at is look at the lie before they assess the shot they're going to play, because that's going to really dictate the amount of spin it's going to get. As you say, if it's in slightly longer grass, the ball's going to come up a little bit higher in the face. That'll give it higher launch, but actually slightly lower amounts of spin.
This is going to go in. I'm going to spin this one in. So I'm going really wide in the swing, maximising loft, maximising speed. Oh, that is perfect. And just notice the sound of the strike as well there. I'm not smacking down into the floor. Come back. There we go. A little bit more, a little bit more. Nice.
Would you say that going back to people in the past, how you said trying to really hit down on it, the one fault we'd see now when we start to teach the wedging is players, they still got the idea of hitting down on it, and then from the top of the backswing, they start leaning on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So if they can just stay more centred, that's clearly going to help them, isn't it?
Rotational movements as opposed to weight shift is a big one. If you get the right ball position, the right movement in your address position with that left hip forward, is that will lend itself to rotate better, as opposed to if you have your weight a little bit too far back, you've got to drive your weight to the left, and driving your weight to the left causes too big of a steep angle of attack. Guys, with everything that we give advice from, practice this action, because this might feel very different to some of the other pieces of advice. If you're changing your wedge shots, you will see different flight characteristics. Therefore, taking this straight onto the golf course straight away might be tricky. We highly recommend going to a practice ground first, try and hit golf shots into real greens to see actually how the ball's recepting and how it's reacting. If you can get on launch monitors, even better still, because you can actually get some data of spin characteristics. Guys, if you've enjoyed the video, please do click like. If you find that was very useful and you're going to get more spin, enjoy and comment below. What else do you want to see from me and Dan? We're going to do some more videos together. Don't forget to subscribe myself. Subscribe to Dan by clicking the big circles down here at the bottom. That was good, that.
Yeah, enjoyed that. Get some good shots as well.
Are you having a go?
You like your camera, don't you?
Yeah, we're literally hitting over the top of the camera here. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.